Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Why, hello there. Fancy meeting you here. How you doing on this gray day? Why is it hard to wake up when it's gray? I don't know. Anyway, what is it? It's Wednesday. It's the 11th of May. And, time keeps on slipping into the future. Tomorrow we're going to have a guest. That's somewhat unusual these days. I'm reading his book right now. He's on the cover of the book wearing a loincloth made out of some big leaf or something. With his lovely wife. There they are. You want it? Oh yeah, Celine is totally into it. The amazing thing, that guy used to be a Washington Post reporter. And he's been stoned pretty much every day of his life from 19 God knows what on. And he was stoned when he was a Washington Post reporter, just so you know. And he was a very good reporter. He writes very, very well. It's quite clear. Anyway, he's written a book about his love affair with marijuana. And somewhat poignantly, how it has helped him get through the last 20 years when he has been caring for his wife who has Parkinson's disease. So anyway, as an old pothead myself, I thought it might be interesting to talk to this guy. I still don't understand why the Wall Street Journal did a review of that book. It just seems so out of place for the Wall Street Journal, and it's not that the book is getting any other. It's very odd. So anyway, we'll talk to the guy. He's got some interesting stories, and some of which aren't even in the book. But I mean, he was sitting there in the newsroom at the Post in 1972 when the Watergate burglary happened. So he was there with Woodward and Bernstein. He wasn't a hard news reporter. He was a feature reporter like moi. Maybe all the feature reporters are the ones that are stoned. And I don't know. So tomorrow, anyway. Today, I got nothing. I just got me and I got you. And yesterday you were very mum, very quiet. But I had my sister around, so I didn't feel... What are you doing over there? Jeez. You're reading. I think Celine, you interview him then.
No.
God, what made you jump like that?
Do you really want to hear?
Yeah, well, but turn on the mic. What made... Jeez, you should have seen the reaction. What was that? She's reading the beginning of the book.
So he's finding out that his wife has Parkinson's disease.
Yeah.
And his response to this is, quote, "Plainly, I have no aptitude for helping another human being who's in any kind of serious need. But I've already left one wife. That won't be happening again."
So
At least he owns it. You know?
yeah, he presents himself in not a particularly flattering light. This is true.
It's very plainly spoken.
Yeah. So it's weird to try, reading it because, yeah, I've been having some real negative reactions as well. And I thought we'd be soulmates, and we're not.
Sorry, I'll try to.
But that's okay. Do you still have the Wall Street Journal review? Or have you lost it? I gave it to you. No? She lost it. Okay. All right, so. Oh, I have the misfortune of right now looking at a picture of one Ted Nugent, who used to be, he doesn't still sing, does he? What was he? I mean, a more vile person you would not be able to conjure, I don't think. Ted Nugent, who is a member of the board of directors of the National Rifle Association, and as despicable a human being as ever existed. And it appears from this picture that he also maybe has a talk show, because he's got a headset on and he looks like he's babbling. Anyway, he put out on his either Twitter feed or Facebook page or whatever the hell, but he put out, and really loved it, a video that somebody made from one of the debates between Hilary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. And today with technology, what it is, you can take a piece of reality and play with it. You can put words in people's mouths. You can put objects in people's hands. You can, you can Photoshop it even in a moving video kind of a way. And I did not, because I did not want to look at it, because I'm just looking at a still photo of it. He apparently has put out this video taken from that debate. So you've got both Clinton and Sanders standing there behind their podia and, looking at each other and talking and looking this way and that. And somebody has, at some point in the debate, when I suppose Bernie Sanders' hand goes up or something, they put a gun in his hand and he turns to Hilary and they have him shoot Hillary Clinton during the debate. It looks almost, I suppose, almost real. And she goes down, blood gushing from her chest. And Ted Nugent puts that up on the internet and says, Bernie Sanders destroys Hillary Clinton in debate on gun laws. Or also he put, Bernie Sanders absolutely killed Hillary over this issue. Now, the guy with the Trump tombstone I told you about yesterday, he got a knock on his door from the Secret Service and from some plainclothes police from NYPD. Simply for making a tombstone that said Trump on it, and he made America hate again. Why wouldn't exhibiting videos of Hillary Clinton being shot dead prompt the same kind of visit from a Secret Service team to Ted Nugent or whoever manufactured this? It's amazing to me. So I mean, I'm just looking at a still where apparently she gets hit and there's blood all over. This is, the video features edited footage of a CNN debate between Clinton and Sanders. As Clinton is answering a question, Sanders is depicted as pulling out a gun and shooting her in the chest, blood spurting from her chest as she falls to the ground. Ain't that lovely? And Ted Nugent is trafficking in that. Speaking of the guy who did the Trump tombstone, he's got a big article in today's New York Times. I guess it is a way to get your name out there. And he says in it that he was, after he put the tombstone in Central Park, you know, for him it was performance art. You know, it was some kind of an art thing. Anything is art now. I just, you know, I can stand on the corner and like fart and say it's art. It is. It's all art, right? So this guy, whose name is Brian Andrew Whiteley, said that after he did it, he sort of hunkered down in his apartment in terror because he knew he could be in trouble. It's amazing. Something as subtle as that was considered a death threat, as opposed to, I guess, showing Hilary actually getting killed. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, this is...
Hello? Hello? What happened? Where'd he go?
Oh.
Wait. We're trying to get you. We got some audio issues. What a bunch of crap equipment. Are you there still?
Yes.
Okay, hang in there. Okay, all right, go ahead, and we'll hope you don't.
Well, I was going to say that the Republicans and the Democrats, I see they both got a problem with the conservative. I think that them days are gone. And then I see Hilary with this thing with the coal miners, and I feel that she's blowing that too with the working class. And that's what kind of I think about Trump appealing to the working class.
It makes you nervous, huh?
I think Pennsylvania could be in play.
Yeah, I agree.
For West Virginia, which is Republican the last few times.
Yeah. No, West Virginia would definitely, there's no doubt, is going to go Trump. But I agree that Pennsylvania is potentially could. I actually, if you were to ask me, I'd say it's going Trump.
I think it is too. I actually think he's going to be the president. I've come to that conclusion. I kind of like accept it. I don't like it, but I just think
I can't accept it.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell the guy's going to do, but I think he's going to be president.
He's going to destroy the economy. He's going to destroy the global economy. He's going to, if he really got into, I can't even imagine.
My thing with him too, I don't think he's going to get things done because he's going to have to cater to the Republicans or the Democrats. So it's going to kind of be like an Obama thing in a way.
Well, nothing ever gets done anymore.
So he'll just sit there
and I guess feed his ego. I don't know.
Yeah, but I just have that bad feeling, and I'm pretty good at predicting who the president is the last few times.
Are you?
Scary.
Oh dear. When I start thinking about it and just seeing this sort of like, again, that juggernaut effect that seems to be happening in this sense of Americans not caring anymore, just wanting to, as I said yesterday, just blow it all up. And if you want to blow it all up, you'd vote for Trump.
Yep. And if you see the results from yesterday, Nebraska was supposed to be a Ted Cruz state, and Trump just beat the shit out of him in that state.
Well,
I know he's out of the thing,
yeah.
But you still would have thought the voters would have voted opposite. So I think it's like
a fait accompli. You think it's
all
right? Well, that doesn't mean you
win.
don't. I think that we need to redouble our efforts to.
And I don't even like Hillary.
I don't either, but we gotta. She's the.
I hate them both. It's like.
I know.
What the hell are you gonna do?
No, I'm with you. I can't get
it.
But man, I'm gonna work hard for her. I'm gonna give her money.
Okay. All right, that's all I got.
All right, goodbye.
Okay, see ya.
Yeah, now I'm depressed. I've been thinking the same thing. It's not just here, you understand, that this is happening. This nationalistic, macho, right-wing, fascistic light stuff going on. It's happening all over the globe right now. Americans don't tend to look beyond their backyard, but in Poland, I mean, I can start talking about countries because I do follow what goes on around the world. In Poland right now, there is a government that looks like a fascistic government. And Poles are in the streets, hundreds of thousands strong, protesting this government, but the people of Poland put that government in. So Poland's being ripped apart by this kind of same kind of I don't know. Fear. What? I got a call? Well, good. Who knows what word I was looking for? I've been rescued. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just thinking, Donald Trump, and when he's at his rallies or whatever, if he wasn't criticizing something, I don't think he'd have much to say.
If he wasn't what?
Criticizing somebody.
Oh, that he has nothing good to say. He's just...
No, he has nothing to say.
Nothing.
I mean, about his policies or what he would do for the country. I mean, it would take up like 5 or 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Right. There's no specifics.
No specifics.
Because he doesn't talk about them because he doesn't have them.
Right. So if he's not talking about Hilary or he's not talking about whoever, it'd be a 10-minute speech. That's how he does it to fill time.
Oh, God almighty. Yeah, well, I got a feeling his bombast, most of what he says is self-aggrandizing. It was huge. It was the biggest. It was the best. Never before. Blah, blah, blah. I'm really rich. I mean, really, that's what he says over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's true.
And people are smitten? What?
Yeah, but I am just appalled that we are falling at his feet in such large numbers.
I know.
That we're not giving him any kind of real scrutiny at all.
No. Scrutiny? Jeez. Maybe the general election is a time when we will see a measure of scrutiny.
God, I hope so.
Let's hope. Okay?
Yeah, I think SaberFacts will be out in full force to run ads against him.
Well,
I hope.
We're in for about as ugly a election as I've ever even contemplated living through. I don't
not to the betterment of his country.
No, definitely not. Yippee! All right, you. Thank you.
Fear the worst, and hope for the best.
Bye.
All right.
Bye. Oh my God! What is this? Depressed Men Day? Come on! Does somebody have an uplifting thing to share with the group? I'm looking around. I can't find half of what I thought I brought here. God dang it. So anyway, I was talking about the Poland is gone. Austria's heading that way. Austria, who gave us Adolf Hitler. Austria heading really right. The French, you never know. They got a socialist right now in, but Le Pen keeps getting more and more people. Germany, because of the immigrant situation there and throughout Eastern Europe, going right. And then, of course, we have the Philippines. You know what happened there? They had a presidential election, and the guy who won is a lot like Donald Trump. And the Filipinos are a little freaked, sort of like we will be should Donald Trump prevail. I can't find what I thought I had here, which would give me more specific fodder to buttress whatever it is I'm going to say to you about him. His name is Duarte or something. And he is the mayor of the fourth largest city in the Philippines. And he was extremely popular because that was a city that had a lot of crime, and he took care of it. You know how he took care of it? He pretty much unleashed vigilantes. Thousands of people were killed. He's a strongman mayor, and he brags about the fact that he intends to be sort of a dictator. He can get things done. Macho man, always bragging about his sexual prowess, openly talking about his mistresses. On the other hand, he doesn't live high on the hog. He says he won't live in the presidential palace. He's a regular kind of a guy in that regard. He's known for making, and here's where I don't have the statements, just unbelievably outrageous statements. When I think a missionary, a woman, someone can help me here if you remember. But again, I mean, we just don't follow news beyond our shores. Was kidnapped, raped, killed by some, who knows, guerrilla group. And I think she was Australian. I'm not sure. But this guy, who's now he's going to be the president, he was of the Philippines, said something about, man, she was beautiful. Gosh, she was beautiful. And he said something about, I would have raped her first. I mean, I should have had. He made some joke about raping this already raped and dead woman. He's now the president of the Philippines. He has said things that are so vile. And his death squads, which killed a lot of people, but I guess bad people he was killing, and things got better in the town, so people were behind him. He actually said on the campaign trail, he told Filipinos, yes, we got rid of thousands in his home city, and we'll get rid of hundreds of thousands if I am president. So, and they elect him. Anyone want to rethink the wisdom of democracy? It's interesting that in a time of emotional instability and social instability and geopolitical instability and instability even in our natural world. In a time like that, I guess we should not be surprised that men, mostly, who rise up and promise to keep us safe and be the big daddy are going to attract a lot of support. There are people who are just hardwired to want Big Daddy. Yeah. Because a Big Daddy sort of absolves you of having to do anything except follow orders. Be good. Or else. And so you just keep doing your stuff, but Big Daddy takes care of things and keeps you safe. And we're seeing these Big Daddies rise up all over the world. To see one here in the United States of America is really unsettling. I was having an imaginary conversation this morning while I was getting ready to come home here, and I was thinking that Trump was elected, and that, in fact, what I fear started to happen, that we got sort of this more and more fascistic. And I imagine talking to one of my relatives that's going to vote for him. And that they would be saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't believe, that I did that, and I was thinking, I will be merciless. I was merciless. I was not accepting any I'm sorries from any Trump voter. People who potentially put this grand experiment of a nation in such jeopardy because they're having a little bit of a snit fit. I would feel no desire, no ability to forgive him. I'm sorry. Jays. So Milton says, he's got the guy, Rodrigo Duterte. Duterte? Yeah, I think. You know, the Philippines did have a big daddy in Ferdinand Marcos for years and years and years. But eventually, and he killed people he didn't like, you may recall, those of you who know history. But this guy, okay, so he's got, thank you. I'm much appreciative, Milt. Yeah, he has vowed to kill 100,000 criminals. Here's some quotes from this guy, who's now the, and this is a big ally of ours, right? And if this guy is the president, and Donald Trump is the American president, the instability in Southeast Asia that would create right off the bat is mind-boggling. Okay, so here's the new Trumpish Filipino president in his own words. Forget the laws on human rights. If I make it to the presidential palace, I will do just what I did as mayor. You drug pushers, hold-up men, you do-nothings, you better go out, because I'd kill you. People love that. It's like Dirty Harry. It's like everybody's like living in some friggin' movie now. Really. They can't tell the difference between reality and... Here's some more. I'll dump all of you into Manila Bay and fatten all the fish. They love it. They elected him yesterday. What he did was he actually armed civilian militias, and he sent them out to kill communists. So he's killing people for political purposes, not just because they were criminals. And they just turned into death squads, which targeted anyone who he saw as a threat to public order. During a televised presidential debate, he said he would kill his own children if they took drugs. He also said he would give himself and members of the security forces immunity from prosecution when they leave office, saying, pardon given to Rodrigo Duterte for the crime of multiple murder. Signed, Rodrigo Duterte. This is the guy the Filipinos voted. Yeah, and here's the joke about the Australian missionary. Here's what this guy said. It's Trump-like. They raped all of the women, he's saying. There was this Australian lay minister. I saw her face and I thought, son of a bitch, what a pity. They raped her. They all lined up. I was mad she was raped, but she was so beautiful. I thought the mayor should have been first. This guy's now the president of the Philippines. He's the one who actually said bad things about the Pope. You had Donald Trump and the Pope going at it. Didn't hurt Trump. The Philippines is about as Catholic a country as you can be. He was bitching when the Pope came to town because it created traffic jams. And he said something. This must be here too. He said, "Pope, son of a whore, go home." He called the Pope a son of a whore, and the Filipinos made him president, and they're very Catholic. I'm telling you, the madness that we see here is all over the place. We can talk about the Zika virus, which we're all scared to death of now, and understandably so. But there are other viruses about that are infecting millions and millions in this world. He apparently said something about Donald Trump. He doesn't like Trump. He said he is a bigot. And I am not. Well, maybe he's not a bigot. There you go. He thinks he's better than Trump. So he doesn't like being compared to Trump. On Viagra, he has said this: "I was separated from my wife. I'm not impotent. What am I supposed to do? Let this hang forever? When I take Viagra, it stands up." He made that comment to an audience of Philippine business people in April. He has also bragged about, women, saying he has 2 mistresses. And this is the guy, this very Catholic country. Dear God in heaven, help us. Okay, so I'm just saying, we ain't alone. There are Filipinos right now who are saying, I can't believe he's our president. Now, they're a little ahead of us. God forbid in 6 months. We are saying the same thing. God forbid. So you know what happens at this if the Secret Service comes calling? Just getting back to what I was telling you about. So this guy puts up a tombstone in Central Park. And Secret Service and plainclothes cops knock on his door. And they stayed for about an hour. And he said they asked him, listen to this, they asked him what books he was reading. What? Why? This is America. Can't I read any book I want? They asked him what books he was reading. They asked him whether he owned a gun. I guess the correct answer there is no, even though every red-blooded American should have a gun. So if the FBI comes calling, you don't want to, you'll have to say, yeah, I do, but no. So this guy didn't have a gun, and they wanted to know whether he attended any presidential rallies. Apparently, he did not fit the profile of an assassin. I don't know what kind of book assassins read. This is for paying for a tombstone with Trump on it, and he made this country hate again. Oh, dear. But he says that's art. How is that art? He didn't do the tombstone. A guy paid a tombstone maker to do the tomb, the guy who cut the granite and stuff. That's the craftsman. He's saying it's art for him to come up with I'm going to put Trump's name on a tombstone. That's art? I think of art as more difficult to achieve. If it's that easy, hey man, I'm an artist, you're an artist, we're all artists. Lori writes, democracy may exist in more countries than ever, but crony capitalism and wealth concentrated for the elites exists in these countries too. Across the globe, most people are not optimistic about their opportunities and are looking for change, even though they're going to end up even worse off. Yeah, the same, exactly, because I completely agree with you. What has happened, and I've said this a million times before, and it's understandable that we don't feel this or see it, because we're each individually, we're just little teeny weeny things in the whole globe, on this globe. But the way that human beings used to organize themselves on this globe has gone through changes, as you know. I mean, we went from, cave people to hunters and gatherers to agriculture to industrial to now technological. And every time that kind of progress changed, it also affected how we organized ourselves for governmental purposes. So we went from kings and a feudal system eventually to less powerful monarchies with some shared governance in a somewhat democratic style, and then the United States truly breaking a mold, and humans organize themselves and put boundaries around their territory, and we lived in nation states and identified with those nation states. These are all very arbitrary kinds of things, you understand. Especially in a place like, let's say, Europe. I mean, it's not necessarily for us, because we got a big ocean on one side and another big ocean on the other. The only two borders that we created, and obviously through war. That's how these borders get made. We just have one neighbor to our south, Mexico, and one to our north, Canada. In Europe, you have constantly shifting borders because people never really agreed on where they should be drawn. So nation states were the be-all and end-all. Guess what, guys? Even though we still have these nation states, they are not the power they used to be. Exactly because of what the emailer says. Because of capitalism and its wealth. And because capitalism now is global. And because it defeated communism. There used to be these two forces. And the commies lost. And the capitalists won. And now, I remember when I was a kid, maybe you'll remember too, you thought of certain corporations as American. They were ours. American corporations. There's no such thing anymore. I mean, yeah, there's a few little ones, but corporations are global. They don't have any sense of belonging to a specific nation state, which is also why they have no compunction whatsoever in not paying their fair share of taxes to help that nation state deliver services to its people. No, the capitalists like to keep it all for themselves. They buy governments now. So we can see our government is pretty much a wholly owned subsidiary of a small group of wealthy capitalists. Pretty much. They control everything. They can take the entire world down. They've come close a few times. Presidents, prime ministers, and kings have to be very careful about keeping these big players with all the money happy. So we think we live in this country, and there's this government, and it represents us, and we have awakened quite a bit in the last few decades to the fact that our government doesn't represent us. And then these just bald statements, like the Supreme Court of our country has even said, my God, it's writ in law now that the rich can have more power in our elections because their money is the same as our words. Their money is the way they speak. I got to tell you, that is that Citizens United is the creepiest and most destructive judgment that has come out of that court since God knows what, since Dred Scott, I don't know. Wrong. And we see the damage. We see it. One of the reasons so many Republican voters are so angry is they kept falling for what these Republican politicians were telling them. We're going to do this for you. We're going to do that for you. Then they go to Washington, and they don't do anything for these people. In fact, they ship their jobs overseas. They pull the safety net from under them. And they can't do enough for the rich. It took the Republican electorate a long, I can't believe how long time it took for them to finally realize they were being had. That they now turn to Donald Trump as their savior shows why they were so slow to comprehend they were getting screwed by the establishment. They just don't do their homework. I'm not calling them stupid. I'm calling them lazy. I'm calling them unserious. Chris Potter, when he was the editor of City Paper and when he was a weekly guest on this program, said something once that was just so right, and I can never remember it exactly, but he said, we are a very unserious people living in a very serious time. Something to that effect. And there it is. For those of us who are aware of it, it's, as we know, really discomforting and unsettling to look at our families, as I was with my family in California, to look at our families, people we know, people we love, our friends, and see them being essentially so unserious. Wow. All right. Hang on here. A comic about welfare. Somebody sent me a comic about welfare. It's in little panels. First panel, Arizona is the first state to put a 12-month lifetime limit on welfare benefits. Is that true? Jesus. There's a guy telling a woman, 1 year, that's all you get. The woman says, does this mean you'll raise the minimum wage so I can actually afford to live? No, he says. Well, can you promise me I won't be laid off again? No, he says. Well, will you build more low-income housing so I can pay the rent? No. Will you stop shipping jobs overseas? No. How about a New Deal-style public works program? No. I'm not sure what sort of lesson this is supposed to teach me. It's supposed to teach us self-reliance. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go beg for campaign donations. There it is. Arizona put a 12-month lifetime limit on welfare benefits. And they tell these people what? Yeah, get a job. I'll get a job, and it still doesn't pay me enough to feed my children and keep a roof over. I can work 60 hours a week and be homeless. And they're going to not give any help to these people. God, I hate these Republicans. I'm sorry, guys. I know I keep saying I shouldn't say hate. I shouldn't say hate. I disagree so fervently that it approaches my anger is such. My fear of what they unleash and have unleashed. Jesus. Whatever happened? Did you see that one of Trump's delegates in California is actually the head of a major white racist organization? And now the Trump campaign is saying, we didn't know that. Bullshit. I mean, they knew it. It's just that when this is the leader of the American Freedom Party. And I mean, this guy is a total racist, anti-Semite, unbelievable. And he is a Trump delegate from California. He has personally spent $30,000 promoting Donald Trump's candidacy. He compares Trump to King David. Jesus God. So, I thought I heard on the news, or what passes for the news, that since this became public, the Trump campaign has said, it must have been a mistake in our data. Blah, blah, blah. But the thing is Trump's database of big supporters and sponsors is full of racists. So it shouldn't be surprising to them, and they have one of the leading racists right there, the head of the American Freedom Party. I don't know if you heard that, Trump just doesn't want to disavow the haters that he has for him. And there was a woman who wrote a critical article. Do you know about this? A woman reporter for, I can't remember the publication, wrote an article about Trump's wife, which the Trumps did not like. I have not read the article. And complaints were made, and all of a sudden this author is getting death threats. I mean, really serious death threats. Only these, because she's Jewish, are colored with such anti-Semitic stuff like, you kike bitch. Again, what they do with women is their violent sexual imagery. With her, they add on the Jewish stuff. Trump, questioned about it, refused to condemn what his supporters were saying to this woman. I just want to say out there, all the Jews, all minorities, anyone who is a minority who is in this guy's camp is sleeping with the enemy. And if they don't see it, I don't know what that says about them. Magical thinking, I guess. Our capacity for just believing whatever it is we need to believe. Speaking of magical thinking, I'm going to get to Hilary here. And this is fascinating. We are told that Hilary will be a much more hawkish president than Obama, maybe even than Trump. Who knows? But there's something else about Hilary that is surprising. And that is, she sort of believes in UFOs. Do you know that? Sorta. She's serious about them. She doesn't think it's something that we should laugh at. And she thinks it's possible that, here's a quote from her, "I think we may have been visited already. We don't know for sure." The UFO crowd is gaga over Hilary because she has said that if she is the president, she is going to finally declassify all that stuff that the feds have on UFOs and other things, and is going to let us see them. She said, barring any national security, interests. She said she would release information about Area 51. Well, inquiring minds want to know, including hers, and she'll know. Won't she be told? Which is, as you know, it's an Air Force base in Nevada. And a lot of people, and they ain't all nuts, believe it to be the headquarters of wherever our government stores and pays attention to all of this strange stuff going on in our solar system. And not wanting to upset us or panic us, they don't tell us much of anything. Hilary was on Jimmy Kimmel show the other day, and he said something about UFOs to her. And she corrected him, which shows how up she is on this. She said, we don't call it UFO anymore. That's an old terminology. It's now called a UAP. Did you know that? I'm not going to remember it myself. I'm going to still be a UFO person. But it's called a UAP, which stands for unexplained aerial phenomenon. So that's a governmental designation now. They went from unidentified flying object to unexplained aerial phenomenon, which seems more correct, right? Because they exist. Unexplainable or unexplained, we don't have the capacity, we don't know. Unexplained aerial phenomenon. And the fact that she knows and said to him, that's the latest nomenclature. The fact that she knows that just made the UFO folks go nuts, because that shows she really pays attention to it. She was interviewed on the radio last month, and she was asked about, again, UFOs or UAPs, and she said, I want to open the files as much as we can. And when she was asked if she believed in these things, she said, I don't know. I want to see what the information shows. But then she said, there's enough stories out there that I don't think everybody is just sitting in their kitchens making this up. So this would, I don't know. So we might have a president who actually is very curious about and open to. She says, the article says that Obama treats any UFOs, he just thinks it's a joke. He won't even talk about it. She ain't cut of the same cloth in that regard. I'm looking at a picture of, we have a call. Hang on. Hello? Hi,
hello.
Hi, Clarence.
Hi, Clarence Campbellsburg.
Yes.
Wait a second.
What?
Of course she knows what a UAP is. She was the Secretary of State. I don't think that is a big deal.
Why would the Secretary of State would
know a lot of terminology used by the government,
including UFOs? What is the Secretary of State?
Well, no, the terminology UAP.
Yeah,
as opposed to using UFO. I'm not surprised that she knows that.
Okay,
she was the Secretary of State.
Okay,
and a senator. She's going to know a lot of government stuff.
Yeah, but is
the fact that she, I don't know, she believes it's possible.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, that's one thing. Because I think it's, possible, but I don't think it's probable. I'm not, depends on what you mean by the word is. But I'm also in agreement that she should open up some of the files. Because from my perspective, I think it would allow them, to show people this is a bunch of hooey. We were testing, different ways to fly, like the Area 51 thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I actually have no problem with that. Especially with I'm nitpicking words here. It's possible, but is it probable? Nah.
Well, we know she's no idiot, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at a picture of her from 1995, so she would have been the first lady then, and she's with a Rockefeller, Lawrence Rockefeller. I think that's Nelson's brother, and they're walking on his ranch in Wyoming, and he's a big UFO guy, and she's carrying a copy of the book, Are We Alone? And when she went to visit him, she was warned by the White House. The director of the White House Office of Science and Technology warned her that Rockefeller had spent years pressuring the government to release the files about the crash in Roswell and had given a lot of money to UFO organizations and stuff like that. And she was told he's going to want to talk to you about his interest in this stuff, ESP and paranormal phenomenon and UFOs. And all that did was excite her, I guess, because she went right there.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
You didn't know that about her?
No, it doesn't bother me either.
No.
Listen, because everybody has their, little weird beliefs. The majority of people believe that there's a magical man in the sky answering their prayers.
That is true.
I don't.
But I am more open. I'm more open to definitely. What it is, it's not that I'm open. I'm curious about what has been found that the government won't tell us.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that I'm always been curious about that too. I was a UFO believer and back in the 80s and crop circles and all that nonsense because of like the Discovery Channel putting out there like it's real.
Did they figure out what those crop circles are?
Guys doing it. There's just guys walking around with a piece of wood with a string.
Are you sure?
Yeah. The first guy who did it showed how he did it. You just go to YouTube, how crop circles are done. The first guy who did it showed how he did it. And it was basically a plank, on his, that he would walk on to lay the corn stalks down with, he had a piece of string. He was holding it with a piece of string. Lay the corn stalks down without breaking them. You know what I mean? He would just walk in circles, and he would use like a point. You know what I mean? So
So he's
going. That's how he did it. And then you'll find all kinds of really cool stuff. It became like an art project for some people. They would go and do interesting little designs and things, and people's faces, and in the middle of the night. That's how they do it. The crop circles and stuff. All that stuff back in the 80s. That before the internet, I found out, hey, you can really find out how this stuff works. Because I've become more and more skeptical about a lot of stuff because because of that.
Well, I think, yeah.
That.
Okay, but I think what you got here with Hilary is not that she believes it, but that she, with her hungry head, is curious.
Yeah.
And doesn't think it's something that you laugh at and just blow aside.
That's I agree with that 100%.
Me too.
I want to know too because I'm curious as
Me
heck
too. Yeah.
about everything. I
Me
want to
too.
know what the heck it was.
Me too.
But from my perspective, it'd be cool if it was some aliens.
Maybe.
Check it out.
Okay.
For the sake of, I'd rather be an alien because, people are voting for crazy people in the
Yeah, that's right. That's right. For all I know, would you be surprised if we find out Trump's an alien? Doesn't he? Really? Seriously.
He's covering up that he has a symbiont on his brain. That's
Yeah.
his hair.
Yeah. It's so
Controlling him.
bizarre. The hair is so bizarre that, it's like a dead giveaway or something.
Somebody called me weird the other day. You are so weird. And I said, you know what? I've studied humanity, and I take that as a compliment.
I gotcha.
Yeah, all right.
All right, you.
Hey, have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, Robert Hester has said, I see your outfit today. Way to rock the red, Lynn. I'm not rocking the red. Actually, is this red? It might look red on TV, but it's not. It's I wasn't thinking of that, Robert. He says, even though our Penguins eliminated Ovechkin and the Capitals from the play, that game was, I couldn't believe we were up 3-0 and we let them catch us. And I knew we were going to lose it. Because to lose be that far ahead and let them come back like that, where they got all the momentum, I just knew we were dead. And we weren't. Incredible overtime win. And yeah, it was just great. It was just, wow. Screaming, yelling. I think I woke my kid up. He has to get up really early to go to work. I'm screaming in the living room. Great game. And my hat's off to the Penguins. So, I think that's it. So tomorrow we're going to have, what's his name on here? What do you think? You've been reading more. Celine is a little, so you're not in love with him. You don't have to be in love with him.
We'll see. You asked me on opinion.
Yeah. So anyway, his book is called what?
40 Years Stoned.
40 Years Stoned. Well, I think it's better than talking about Trump. I hope you do tomorrow.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live. Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.